Authorpreneur Podcast. Why do people say things like this? It's not helpful. Some people have a default where they treat you like you just fell off the turnip truck or you're too stupid to function. And in my head, I sort of think,
no. I went straight to a forum and asked for help, and I didn't check. Let me check right now.
Who in their right mind wouldn't check that their entire book is available to read for free before going to a forum and asking for help? Because when you discover your book has been pirated, you sit there and you scroll through and you watch your entire book in PDF form on the internet. Welcome to Amelia's Behind the Scenes Author Diary, an exclusive look at the behind-the-scenes misadventures of a 40-something mystery author. Discover how close she is to releasing her latest novel, hear exciting details about upcoming writing projects, and discover lessons she has learned along her writing journey so you don't have to make the same mistakes. You can find episode show notes and lots more information at authorpreneurpodcast.com/podcast. Hello, writers. Welcome back to another Behind the Scenes Author Diary. I'm Amelia D. Hay, and if you're new here, in these Author Diary episodes, I share the unvarnished truth about my adventures in writing and self-publishing. No sugarcoating, no pretending everything is sunshine and roses, just the real, messy, sometimes frustrating reality of being an indie author. Today, I'm bringing you my 2024 writing update, and honestly, it's been quite a year. Technically, well, it is my 2024 writing update, but it's really like this big writing update since I last spoke to you in a proper Author Diary episode where I talked about my writing. I've got some wins to celebrate, like writing nearly 60,000 more words than the previous year and finishing 2 books in a completely new genre. But I've also hit some roadblocks that left me questioning everything from Facebook ad strategies to whether I should keep writing at all. And we're going to dive into my venture into cozy mysteries, my ongoing battle with Google Play books over mysterious tax certificates, and yes, the frustrating reality of book piracy. I'll also share why I've been experimenting with AI translation for a French edition of my work and how I'm navigating the ever-changing landscape of self-publishing. So grab your cup of tea or whatever keeps you going, because we're about to get real about the highs and lows of my writing life. Just to let you know, this episode was recorded on Monday, the 21st of July. So this show is primarily me looking back at 2024 up until yesterday. If you're interested in reading the transcript or would like links to anything that I've mentioned in the show, check out the very long blog post or edited transcript at authorpreneurpodcast.com/BTS059. And if you're new to this podcast, I want to say a huge thank you for stopping by and trying out my show. To those of you who've been faithfully listening, thank you for regularly listening in and supporting me. Your support means more to me than you know. In 2024, I wrote 58,251 more words than in 2023. That resulted in an extra 74 hours of writing in 2024 than in the previous year. So I'm quite proud that I've spent more time in the chair writing. In these writing hours and word count statistics, I also included time spent in revision and working with my editors. When I say working with my editors, I mean time spent working on the track changes and addressing issues raised in the comments, because I like to review every track change and comment. I know that's a bit much, but I sort of feel like if my editor has taken the time to do it, I should take them all seriously. In my writing spreadsheet, I also include cycling through my manuscript where I add more depth, and I used to record my old school revision technique before I switched to writing into the dark. On top of that, I include the self-line edits that I'm currently doing purely for my beta readers and to reduce my editor's time working on my manuscript. Last year, I finished writing 2 books, a novelette and a novella in a new genre. I also sent these 2 titles off to my first reader, beta readers, and my editors, and later published them in January of this year. In regards to those 2 books that I finished in 2024, they are in a new genre. The novelette, which I'm advertising as a short story for marketing reasons, has a word count of 9,419 words, and it's called A Fatal Steeping. And I wrote a novella, which is the first in a series. Its word count is 19,628 words. These word counts are word count at publication, not first draft or anything like that. The title for this book is A First Edition Felony. Both the novelette and the novella are in the same series. This series is a cozy mystery with a character similar to Agatha Raisin. My character is a middle-aged female who is a former tech CEO going through a divorce and struggling with feelings of betrayal. Essentially, her life is up in flames. With this series, I'm making more of an effort to hit the tropes, unlike my James Lalonde novels, which are character-driven mystery thrillers. But I love the cozy mystery genre, and I know it well, so I'm technically not writing to market. I'm not deliberately writing in this niche because I think it's hot and profitable. It's something that I genuinely love reading, and I've been reading it for quite some time. Since my last update, I've changed the title of The Wedding Party to The Woman in the Lake. Originally, this was supposed to be a reader magnet, but I decided to change the timeline, so it's now book 2 in the Rookie Reporter Amateur Sleuth Mystery Series. The word count was at 13,000 words the last time I gave you an update, and it's now at 99,795 words. This leads me to announce that I've finished this novel. And that word count that I just shared with you is the word count at the end of my first/revised draft. As discussed in episode TAP043, I write a first draft and a revised draft at the same time. I follow Dean Wesley Smith's method where I cycle through the manuscript as I write. As a result, I only need to do a final pass before sending it on to my first reader, beta reader, and eventually my editors. So I don't leave anything to amend for the next draft. The classic example of this is if I add a gun at the midpoint of the story, I will go back and foreshadow this in the previous scenes before moving forward and writing the next scene. Also, once I get to where I naturally feel is the start of Act 3, in a mystery that point is quite obvious, I will go back and read my manuscript and create a list of threads that I need to tie up. It's worth pointing out that if I do something like I'll get to the midpoint and I'll get a feel for who I think has done it, and then I'll reach another point where I realize, oh no, it's actually this person here. I will then stop at that point and go back and foreshadow this in the previous scene. Sometimes, well, I'll go back and foreshadow little things. So when you get to the point where the whodunit is revealed, that they go, oh yeah, I missed all these things, but they were there. When you get to the end of the first/revised draft, it looks like I've written everything in order and I've made no mistakes. But I've just fixed them the second I realized. I haven't waited to fix it in a revision, if that makes sense. I definitely got to a place where I couldn't outline anymore before I tried this. And I think I needed to outline a few books before I discovered a writing style that suited me, because I feel that outlining has really helped me think about plotting a story and finishing, tying up loose ends and stuff like that, and making sure all the beats are in the right places. It's definitely helped me deliberately think about that. As I'm recording these episodes, I'm doing a final pass that's essentially a self-line edit before handing it off to my first reader and beta reader. One of these beta readers I know will give me an ego boost, because after I finish writing, I tend to think that what I've written is a flaming pile of dung and I need to be propped up so I can go through the next phase of publishing. The other reader is someone I can trust to tell me the truth about my own work and point out its flaws, especially if there's a giant plot hole that I can't see. As of today, my word count is at 98,323 words, and I've reached chapter 49 of 61. I was hoping to get the word count under 90k, but I don't think that's going to happen because I've only got 12 chapters left, and I'm going through it. I'm looking for very specific things too. Things that I know that I do wrong, just to save my line editor the time. I didn't do that with the locked room, so I'm hoping this will cut down the time I spend working with my my editors. I still pay them because I pay them by the word. I'm hoping I'm doing them a favor and I'm reducing the amount of time they have to spend on my manuscript, freeing them up to work with other people, potentially, or on other books. The word count for Book 3 in the James Lalonde series is currently at 32,515 words, and the project has been put on pause since the 18th of June last year while I worked on other books. Also, I have a title, and it's The Archivist. For some reason, it took me a long time to decide on a title because the James Lalonde series follows a one-word title pattern, so this title might change in the future. Now that I've shared the title, I'm not happy because the first book is Suspicion, the second book is Duplicity, and I really feel that this third book needs a one-word title. So I'm hoping towards the end it should become apparent. But at the moment, it's called The Archivist until further notice. So if I get to the end and I don't have another idea, this is just what it's going to be. I'm also not happy about how the title sits on the cover too, because I've ruined the overall look of the book cover as well. So I have to find a new title. So me sharing this is absolutely pointless. Sorry. I put this book on pause to pivot towards writing cozy mysteries and The Woman in the Lake. As I discussed in previous episodes, I got stuck writing the Archivist, and I think I realized it was out of genre, and I sort of panicked and I had to go back because I write into the dark. I had to go back and pull out all of these things that are out of genre because it's a part of the series and I'm promising this character-driven mystery style thriller, and it was becoming too suspense thriller. So I had to go through and cut out these things because it's more about the mystery than the suspense and knowing this person's up to this. So I had to cut out those scenes. I really enjoyed writing them too. So I think I cut a huge number of words too out of the book. I think it was like 5K, maybe a bit more. I can't remember. My Mac is getting old, so I can't bring up Scrivener and check either. Not that this is at all related to what I'm talking about. I've decided I'm going to follow a pattern with publishing between my two names. So I'm going to do Cozy Mystery, Rookie Reporter, then another cozy mystery because they're shorter to write and they're to market. So I know people want to read in this genre and they're hitting the tropes. So I sort of feel like reader satisfaction is probably higher with these books than the other two series. I am trying to write Rookie Reporter closer to a genre than the James Lalonde mysteries, but they're so cross-genre. They're out of control. There's no nice way of saying this, but Google Play Books is getting ridiculous. They're now saying I need a tax residency certificate to publish 5 books on their platform, but they can't tell me for which country. Apparently my passport and tax number is not enough. No other store is doing this, just Google Play. Also, I spent hours uploading my 5 books to this site. It's actually more than 5 books. It's actually 11 if you include, or 10 if you include the audiobooks, and it takes a long time. And their chat style customer service knows nothing about the products, so there's no help from Google. So I contacted HMRC and they've given me a non-answer as well. So I get the impression that even they don't know what I'm talking about, or maybe I've just got the wrong person at HMRC. There's a part of me that wants to say more about this, but I can't because actions have consequences, and I'll leave it there for now. If you've heard something in this episode that was helpful to you and you'd like to support the show, then buy me a coffee for as little as $2 at buymeacoffee.com/author ADHey. In 2024, or was it 2023? I don't think that matters. I brought a Facebook ads course. I mean, that's the ultimate sign of middle age, right? All the years bleeding together and I don't know what I did. I saw a super funny TikTok where the caption was, if I Know What You Did Last Summer had 30 to 40-year-old characters instead of teenagers. And he did literally this. He was like, what was I doing last summer? Was it this? Was that the previous year? Was that 2002? Like there's this, and I thought, wow, it's the most relatable video because I can't even remember when I brought a course without going through Gmail and figuring out. In this course, I was told that I should only run Facebook/Meta ads on a book with a rating of 4.2 or higher. Do you know what I hate about these new, not that this is new, but the name change of these companies like Twitter to X, Facebook to Meta. It's like the billionaire's version of the midlife crisis. because they go through midlife crises and suddenly they buy a company they know nothing about, change it to a weird name, or they change a company they had that's quite successful to a name that's kind of ridiculous because, I mean, the name itself is Meta. Is that the point? Is that the nerdy joke that I'm not in on? It's just, I'm still not over the Facebook name change. You get it. So in this course, I was told that I could only run Facebook Meta ads on a book with a rating of 4.2 or higher. My first and serious book has a rating of 3.9 with 57 reviews on Amazon. Does this mean I shouldn't advertise my book? I'm very confused because I need to advertise my book to get sales, but I can't do it according to this quote-unquote rule. Without traffic to my books, I will never find my ideal readers. Also, I'm tired of giving my books away for free because I tend to attract freebie seekers rather than people who actually like the genre. This has been my experience using newsletter services that are heavily promoted by others in the self-publishing space. Based on these rules, I feel screwed either way. Since the ebook retailers are now pay to play, I don't have enough social proof according to the above rule to pay and play. And I can't keep giving my book away for free. This is how I ended up with that 3.9 rating on Amazon with 57 reviews and ratings. So before I share my stats, it's important to note the following. I have 7 published works across 2 pen names, a very small email list, and an ARC team of about 3. But I do use services like Book Sirens and Booksprout to get more reviews on my books. My ratings on book 1 are 21 5-star ratings, 3 with reviews. This is increased by 3 since the previous year. 17 4-star ratings, 1 with a review. This is also up by 3 since the previous year. 4 3-star ratings, 0 with a review, up by 1 the previous year. I've got 3 2-star ratings, 0 with reviews, and this hasn't changed since the previous year. I've got 2 1-star ratings, 0 with reviews. Again, that hasn't changed. I haven't gotten any more 2 and 1-star reviews. With this data, it's hard to know why people rated my book this way because not everyone rates books the same way. It's partly a cultural thing. I also have a tiny ARC team of 3 people who are not related to me. 2 of them left 5-star reviews. By the way, I do not ask for a 5-star review, just a review. I think it's important to say that, or to point that out actually. On top of this, many popular Facebook groups hold back posts for approval by admins, so I can't reach authors when I need to ask for help. As a result, I feel isolated. Again, this feeling of isolation is compounding, and I'm starting to feel like I want to give up because I feel screwed. I tend to cycle between wanting to give up and then picking myself up and eventually falling down again. After experiencing this, I decided to create the Authorpreneur Podcast Discord server. My vision for it was I wanted it to be a community of self-published fiction or fiction authors where you can go and get help when you need it. So no posts held back, no gatekeeping, just support from other authors who understand what you're going through. So if you're feeling isolated like I was, come on over to the Discord community and join. You will have to obviously download the app onto your phone or access it in the web browser. I create a login and just go through like the sign up because it gives you access to a few things in the Discord server if you go through the onboarding sequence. At present, it's only got me and a few bots in the community. With Discord, the bots exist mainly for security reasons to stop someone from hijacking the community. Apparently that's the thing. And they perform tasks as well. One of them, like I have a bot that sends a link that publishes the YouTube video in the Discord community so you could watch it if you like or listen to it in the background. I've got a few bots that do other things. It took me a long time to set up, and I don't know, I feel really bad advertising this. I feel bad advertising things on my podcast in general, and I don't know why I feel that way because I created this out of a need to help other people who feel the way I do, because I thought I can't be the only one out there feeling this way. And for some reason, I just really struggle with promoting the things that I create. And as painful as it is, I want to create a safe space for other fiction writers to feel supported. So that's why I created it. The link to the server is in the show notes. I have gone back and updated all the other episodes with a link to the Discord server, so you should find it in there. Over on Ingram Spark, I found a stop selling my data link on their website, and I was absolutely horrified. I had no idea that this was a thing this company was doing. So naturally I opted out. So I thought I'd share it with you so you can go and can opt out to if you want. Maybe you don't mind, but I digress. And magically, all of those spam calls I've been getting to my business number have stopped practically overnight. Like, I got a book cover business and I've branched out into doing all the websites, and I have people contacting me to design my website. And I just thought, you haven't looked. And this is for Laville book covers. And I'm like, why would I need you to design my website when I'm designing for other people? Just doesn't make sense. But back to the calls I've been getting, they practically stopped overnight. Maybe that's just a coincidence, but you're smart. I'll let you draw your own conclusions. This number was associated with Skype, which is no more. I'm kind of annoyed because I really liked it. So I've lost both of my business numbers overnight with the zero alternative from Microsoft, because there are no business numbers available with Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to have to switch over to apparently WhatsApp to a business number, but I absolutely hate WhatsApp. But I'm going to have to go there because I need a number for Laville book covers and to provide to Stripe, which is the payment gateway that's attached to my author online bookstore. While we're on the topic of Ingram Spark, recently they rejected my large print edition from distribution without any real answer other than a list of possibilities, leaving me to guess the reason. My large print edition has a 16-point font, 5.5 by 8.5 inch sizing, large print specified in the metadata, and the actual words large print on the cover. And ironically, a large print, the interior file was definitely large print because I checked that. I also went back and I looked at all my other large print editions where because I designed my own book covers as a part of Laville book covers, and none of those have had a problem either because I designed them the same way. I have the word large print on the cover, and basically all these other large prints were fine. And I've never experienced this problem before. It took several weeks, but I finally got Ingram Spark to notice the difference between the large print and the 5x8 paperback. I didn't appeal and listed the ISBN for the large print and shared this text. My book, insert title with ISBN, insert ISBN, is a 5.5 by 8.5 inch large print edition and is clearly marked as large print on the cover and in the metadata. Inside the large print edition, the font size is 16 point, whereas in the 5.8 inch paperback, the font is 11 point. And I think the reason why they're rejecting this is, this is the same book. This isn't a new edition. It's just, this a different cover size, but they're not actually telling me this is just the same book in a different size. And it's like, no, it's a different edition. It's the large print. I've had to point out why it's a large print. And it's just exhausting. You can't tell. There's a sizable difference between 11-point font and a 16-point font. It's visibly different. And I had large print slapped everywhere. I felt like I was really overdoing it. Even on the copyright page, it says, ISBN, then it lists the ISBN in brackets. I've got large print, and I've got the ISBN for paperback, and it's got, I can't remember the term I've used for the brackets next to that, but I have something there too. And I'm just like, what more can I do? It took 20 days to resolve. It's such a long time to resolve something so simple. So if you're a similar boat and it's taking forever, it's happened to me as well, feel free to use the text I shared above as a guide, which is why I've shared it. And hopefully this will help you resolve this issue if you've come across it. Or maybe you haven't. Just know, if you haven't come across this, I'm super jealous. This was another thing that prompted me to create my Discord community. The first 2 books in my James Lalonde series have been pirated and cannot be taken down. I've sent a DCMA takedown notice to this website as per their instructions, and my email was rejected by the email provider as spam. It's definitely available to read for free, no email required. And yes, I checked, as in it's a complete download, no viruses, just for free. What the owner of this site has done, I don't know this for certain, but I'm going to assume they purchased my paperback and they scanned it in its entirety. Then they uploaded it to their site. I know this because the ISBNs on the copyright pages are the same ISBNs for my 5x8 paperbacks. I never give out my PDFs of my paperbacks to anyone other than Ingram Spark and Amazon, even though with some ARC sites, they give you opportunity to upload a PDF, and I don't do that. So this means I don't have the option of enrolling in KDP Select or Kindle Unlimited. And yes, I had a chat with Amazon and confirmed this. Whenever I talk about contacting Amazon on social media, I'm always get that one person who says, "Are you sure?"
Because I do that with my books.
And it's like, well, just because your rule breaking is being currently overlooked doesn't mean it will be that way forever. And this is the danger with not abiding by Amazon's rules. It's today they don't notice, but tomorrow they might. And you can kiss goodbye to your account. But I asked, and Amazon said these things need to be taken down before I can enroll. This is stupid because I don't have control over what other people post on their websites, especially pirates. Again, I spoke to other authors about this and got comments about pirating being good for you, and the response feels like fake positivity. This notion of pirating being good for you doesn't negate the fact that it's theft. I'm intelligent enough to realize that someone who steals items has no intention of paying for them, but it's still theft. For some reason, when it comes to books, theft is suddenly okay. But back to the comments section. On top of that, I was met with other comments like,
"Are you sure it's actually up there?"
Why do people say things like this? It's not helpful. Some people have a default where they treat you like you just fell off the turnip truck or you're too stupid to function. And in my head, I sort of think,
no. I went straight to a forum and asked for help, and I didn't check. Let me check right now.
Who in their right mind wouldn't check that their entire book is available to read for free before going to a forum and asking for help? Because when you discover your book has been pirated, you sit there and you scroll through and you watch your entire book in PDF form on the internet, and it's horrible. Like, you just scroll right to the end. That's what I did. I scrolled right to the end. I was even looking at my author notes. So it was the entire thing, both of them. Am I the only one that feels so frustrated and disheartened when it comes to publishing, especially self-publishing? Again, this is making me reluctant to keep writing. I get that this isn't personal, and I'm growing tired of not being allowed to have feelings around this, because in that forum, when I was reading these comments, I definitely felt like I wasn't allowed to feel upset about my book being pirated because it was somehow this exciting hallmark of your career that you had to check off. And it's like, no, this isn't, they're not stealing my work because it's worth stealing. They just found it. I just was unlucky and they found it and scanned it. It's not because my work is quote unquote good and it's worth stealing. It's just I was unlucky and the algorithm showed it to them and they found it. Honestly, that's all it is. It's not a special rite of passage. It's just theft. Sorry if this is the way that you look at it. This is just the way I see it. Obviously, I should have prefaced this by pointing out that I'm deeply pessimistic. It could be an age thing, but it's just where I'm at right now. I've kind of always been like this, actually. It's not an age thing, but it's like a convenient thing now that I can say, well, I'm old, I'm skeptical. The harsh reality is I'm a zillennial, so I'm super sarcastic, deeply skeptical. It's just how I was made. Eventually, I reported the site to Google search for breaching copyright after possibly the only kind person left on Reddit pointed out to me that this was possible. A few days later, a few other people helped me out with this as well. Because it's Google, this isn't an easy thing to do. First, you have to find the secret button, go through a series of steps to fill out a form. You also have to prove that they are violating your IP or copyright, and you are the IP or copyright holder. So you can't just get in a bad mood and flag your opposition. Like, you have to actually prove that they are violating your IP. Naturally, I haven't received anything from Google about this, but I can no longer find this in search anymore. I checked on an incognito browser and on a library computer. I was actually quite shocked that libraries still have computers, but moving right along. The Facebook ads thing and the piracy issue happened back to back. Also, at the time, I was feeling like a shitty writer. I went to this particular forum because sometimes a few Facebook groups that are dedicated to writers hold back posts to be approved by admin. It's making me feel isolated. By the way, back to those approved posts by admin, I get they're trying to limit discussion about certain topics, but it's making me feel isolated. So I created the Discord in hopes of making writer friends. Also, I'm old and I'm tired of being treated like I'm stupid. I was hoping to create a community where we take each other seriously, don't gaslight, and are just helpful. Maybe it's a fantasy, but I was hoping to create something nice and supportive. But I digress. I don't know whether I should share this next segment, but I built my brand on being honest, so I'm going to, for the sake of transparency. At the start of this year, I kept hearing a lot of chatter about how easy it was to create a translation with AI. So I began dabbling with AI to translate my cozy mystery into French. It was partly out of curiosity, and one part, is this really as easy as people claim? Also, I thought worst case scenario, my husband's family could read my work in the native language. So silver lining there. I'm using Claude and it's quite good based on feedback from my husband whose first language is French. But I need to pass this on to a first reader who only speaks French, then beta readers before finding a French editor. Back to the French translation. I had to change my title for the French edition instead of going for a direct translation because it doesn't make sense to French readers. In the same spirit, I've also had to change the name of a few shops in that book, especially the ones with a pun style name. Also, various jokes needed to change as well because they don't work in French. For instance, there is no French equivalent of the old MacDonald had a farm nursery rhyme. So I had to research and find something similar that would work well in that scene. Also, I've been using Claude to speak with French-speaking book cover clients and to translate my autoresponder email series for French readers. It's shockingly good at conversational French, just not with humor and puns and stuff like that. Since this time, I've also tested Scribe Shadow, which is Claude-based, but I got identical results. What I will say is if you're considering translating your book with AI, especially if you care about the final product and how it's going to sound and that reading experience that reader will have, it's not as easy as just clicking a button and out it pops. And you can certainly do that. Back to the French translation. Even if I take this to a line like a proofreader and then publish to someone who only speaks French, there's sections of this book that just will not make sense. So I am using AI with my French translation, but it's not as easy as clicking a button and then it's done, voila. You really do need to take care with it and go through line by line and check for things that don't sound right to a French-speaking audience. So you need people who speak that language to read it and give you feedback. So I'm using this as a really bad rough draft and I'm having to go through and ask Claude what things will not make sense and translate that, send it to a first reader, which will probably be one of my husband's family members, and then get an editor, probably another beta reader and then an editor, like I do with my fiction. I don't know. Are you better off using a person to do the translation? Probably. It might be easier, but I feel this way I have a little bit more control over how my work is being translated. Like I get to choose the name of the bookstore, the French name, and I don't know. It depends if you like choosing that and you're prepared to speak with other people who speak the language. Translations are definitely more of a collaborative effort. And I was just curious because I kept seeing, I just translated with AI and it was great. And then I sent it off to a proofreader and everyone loves it. And I thought that can't be right. And as per usual, I got different results. So I swear I'm not finding drama. It just finds me. Well, I'm not creating drama. It finds me. I swear. So that's my 2024 writing update. More words written, new genres explored, and plenty of challenges that honestly made me question whether this whole indie author journey is worth it. But here I am, still writing, still publishing, and still figuring out as I go along. If you have any questions or have tips on book marketing that you would love to share with me, please come over to the blog post and share your thoughts in the comments section or in the Authorpreneur Podcast Discord server. Also, if you do share a tip, please let me know if you're happy for me to share it in the next episode. I'm thinking of having a Tips from Friends of the podcast segment. Obviously, I'll come up with a better name between now and then. Thanks for listening and happy reading and writing, everybody. Thank you for listening to Amelia's Behind the Scenes Author Diary. You can find the episode show notes, back catalogue episodes, and lots more information at authorpreneurpodcast.com/podcast. I'm your host, Amelia, and I'll see you in the next Behind the Scenes Author Diary episode.